Welcome back here to Fairfield, Connecticut for our CAA Game of the Week. Fairfield and Penn State ready to do battle here on St. Patrick's Day. Travis Eldridge and Greg Gorenlian will be on the call with you here this afternoon. A chilly day in Fairfield, Connecticut, but the sun is out. Stands starting to fill up. A lot of green in attendance. A little t-shirt giveaway here for St. Patrick's Day as we get a look at our face-off athletes for this one. Will Fox for Fairfield going up against Gerard Arceri, a battle we talked about in the pregame. We will watch throughout this one as Arceri wins the opening draw.
Yeah, Gerard is speed on top of speed. You're also going to see a little bit of Joe DeLascio today from Fairfield jump in as well.
So Penn State opens things up. Mac O'Keefe, the spectacular sophomore coming off that stellar freshman season where he scored 51 goals. Handles it as they work the ball around here, get some touches. And Greg, in talking to Coach Jeff Tambroni this week of Penn State, he said possession's so important against this Fairfield team.
Yeah, they're going to need to find somebody to step up. Classic Tambroni, next man up, right? So who's going to make a name for themselves today?
Shot off the bar there for Spillane. Nick Spillane, the junior from Franklin Square, New York, but Penn State able to back it up, and O'Keefe will trigger it in from the side. O'Keefe
not a traditional carrier, so he's going to want to bang the ball around, get open different ways so they can feed him the rock.
Of course, this Penn State offense looks different than it likely would have as O'Keefe
great look.
Had an opportunity, but still no shot here. Here's O'Keefe, winds, fires, and shot ricochets wide.
Kid's got an absolute laser. You're going to see him moving all over the place. The goal for Tambroni right now is to find ways to get him open. I mean, if he's shooting and he's keeping it hot, it's going to be game over for everybody else.
This Penn State offense, of course, missing number one in navy blue, Grant Ament. He has been out for the entire season so far with a foot injury. Talked to him a little bit pregame here. He's still week to week, but such a quarterback for this offense as they turn the ball over. It's been a difficult thing for them to figure out how to work without him.
Yeah, Coach Tambroni admittedly was like, maybe we put a little bit too much on his shoulders, and we didn't really think about the fact that it might get hurt. But, Jack Kelly jumped in a little bit to try to be the next guy up. He got injured. So Penn State's just looking for a couple guys to grow up quick. And if they can do that, they can hang in here. Fairfield's turn on offense is going to be interesting to see how they come out.
This is a Fairfield team coming off a tough offensive performance. Scored just 3 goals last Saturday here in a loss to Yale.
Yeah, they're gonna spin the rock here. They need someone who can quarterback a little bit. They got 2 guys waiting at GLE in the corner to see kind of like a deuces set up here. A lot of picks.
Handling behind is Jack Brennan, the junior from Manhasset, New York.
Got a screen from the wing here. Rolling off of it.
Back over to Colin Burke, former CAA Rookie of the Year. He's the preseason player of the year in the conference heading into last season, but has hit a bit of a wall here in his middle part of his college career.
Penn State playing straight up right now. They have some very good, young, talented defenders. They're going to try and keep Fairfield shooting from outside.
Shot in front, couldn't quite get through. Loose ball. And Fairfield able to scoop it up. Dylan Beckwith. But there's a crease violation, and it's a turnover.
Oof. Moments like that, right, early in the game. It's the loose balls. Everybody's on their feet every single moment. And that's, in a blue-collar slugfest like this that we're going to see today, that's going to be the thing that tides. The tide's going to turn on those kind of moments right there.
Our first look at the sophomore goaltender there for Penn State, Colby Knies, coming out of Texas, had a good freshman season, has started all but 1 game in his college career. Now Penn State back with it on offense in the navy blue.
So got a 1-4-1 set up here. They're going to try and dodge from the wings or get it behind and then try to get some action inside on the crease. Try to get those 2 defenders to move.
O'Keefe swings it around up top to Matt Donley. Donley takes a hit, loose ball scooped up here by Fairfield. Kendall Cahey, the defensive midfielder, with a nice play to scoop that up, and Fairfield sets up the offense here. This is a deliberate Fairfield team, not in any hurry to go offensively.
Yeah, their efficiency, right? Their goal is they don't care how many shots they get. They just want them to be good ones. So they're going to have to try to make it count. Penn State's going to try and force them outside and let Knies do his work in between the pipes there.
The offense has certainly been lacking at times for Fairfield this year, averaging less than 8 goals per game so far this season as that shot sails a little wide. A race for the end line, and it's won by Penn State. That gets the bench a little fired up.
Yeah, man, you're looking for any reason to get a spark right now. You want momentum. First goal, you can feel it right now, right? Everyone's waiting for that first goal.
Especially on a cold afternoon like this, how important is it to get some momentum early on?
Well, the guys on the sideline are looking for any reason to jump up and down right now. I can guarantee that. But if you can get on a roll in these kind of conditions, they can also work against you if you're on the losing end.
You can see some of the snow still piled up on the sides from the nor'easter that came through the New England area earlier this week. Not quite as much as we had in Boston, though.
Oh, you guys got crushed.
Yeah.
Here we go.
O'Keefe
That's
up
O'Keefe
top.
right there, man.
Looked like it went in, but the loose ball, the ref said it hit the post. And a nice ground ball won here by Fairfield, but a turnover around midfield.
Great ride by Penn State, not giving up on that. They get a possession.
Nick Spillane jogging back in with it to get another offensive set. I could have sworn that one went in for O'Keefe.
I mean, it was moving so fast, how can you tell? I mean, O'Keefe's got to be careful. That goalie is somebody's son. My Lord.
Sean McKee, the sophomore from Ambler, Pennsylvania, is standing in there in the line of fire for Fairfield. First look at Ryan Keenan, number 16 in blue for Penn State. Back over to Nick Spillane. Now Kevin Hill behind the cage. He's taking a nice step forward here in his junior season.
You can see Penn State constantly cutting down on the crease, and Fairfield's doing a great job of finding those cutters and talking.
Low pass couldn't be handled by O'Keefe, but scooped up here by Dylan Foltz.
Got a man down.
And we've got a man down for Fairfield. Guy hobbles off. Let's take another look at this shot that ricocheted off the bar here for Mac O'Keefe.
That looks like a bar down situation. Oh, I mean, that looks like it hit net.
Man, I don't know. I thought I saw a little bit of net.
I mean, well, anyway.
As we're back into action here, Penn State maybe the one that they thought got away. Instead, it remains 0-0 here in the first. That shot from Foltz sails a little wide.
Interesting change-up. Fairfield going zone right now. Trying to catch cutters, hoping that Penn State can get in their own way. Leaving a man naked behind.
Skip pass up front. O'Keefe falling down the save.
Wow, what a great save.
McKee coming up with one. And you mentioned the zone, and talking to Coach Andy Copeland this week, said they used that a little bit against Yale, helped keep the Yale team to just 2 goals in the first half, also giving McKee an opportunity to make some saves and see some shots early on.
Yeah, I mean, if you have trust in your goalie, why wouldn't you go zone once in a while? Give it a change up, especially when you're seeing how many cutters for Penn State. You know, if your inside guys are getting mixed up, it's a great change up. Now Fairfield gets their opportunity.
So back on offense is Fairfield.
Question for Fairfield today is who on this roster is going to take the bull by the horns? You know, who's going to be the leader that people can work off of?
Here comes Joe Rodriguez. Shot is saved by Knies.
That was a grown man dodge. He went right into the teeth.
A good ride. Rodriguez, another shot, and he buries it. The Stags are on the board first. It's 1-0 Fairfield.
Yep, second chance opportunities. Got to capitalize. That was awesome.
A great ride there by Jack Brennan, and he sets up Rodriguez for the first goal of this game.
And there's Rodriguez, right? Hard dodge. He's rewarded by that second chance opportunity by his teammates, get him the ball back in the crease.
So Penn State robbed possibly of one at one end, some great action at the other, but it's Fairfield striking first here this afternoon.
Well, you can see early both teams are going after it. You know, Fairfield getting after it on offense. They're not waiting and settling the ball. They want to score goals today.
And Arceri wins his second face-off of the afternoon.
And they've got numbers.
And a chance to go in transition if they want. O'Keefe, though, sends it behind here to Spillane.
So Fairfield grabbing that early momentum. They have Gerard, who's won the first two. It gives you a little bit of a calming sense when you know you can get face-offs early, so you don't worry if you go down. You just got to do your thing. They're getting shots, too. The goaltenders played really well, so let's see how it goes.
A couple of early saves here for McKee. Sitting behind Tyler Bering, the 3-year starter for Fairfield last year, who was a senior, really was a big piece of this defense. Is that shot, not quite a lot on it, easy save for McKee. And they look to clear here for Fairfield.
It's a quick slide. Great job. Another good ride. Both teams playing hard on both ends of the field right now, and it's making a difference. It's making for an exciting start.
No numbers for Spillane, so he takes his time, touches it into the box.
Fairfield dropping back in the zone again.
Down on the doorstep. Nice defensive play. McKee way out of his cage. Loose ball, and he's able to scoop it up. Nice play by the sophomore.
It takes a lot of communication, a lot of practice to run an effective zone defense, especially at this level. So it's pretty impressive right now. They're all on the same page.
Dylan Beckwith, the midfielder, able to bring it across, and Fairfield will get the offensive substitutions on here. Joe Rodriguez with it. He's got the lone goal of this game so far. Second team all CAA a year ago. But he had 17 goals all of last season. This goal here earlier this afternoon, his 14th already this year. A nice breakout season for the senior from California.
Yeah, it's great what confidence and a little experience can do, right? So if he gets hot early in this game, he could be the catalyst.
Here comes Burke, feeds out in front off the post. But a chance to chase down the loose ball, and that's exactly what Beckwith does. And another opportunity here for the Stags.
Yeah, Fairfield forcing the issue. They're getting the ball through X, they're keeping it hot, and they're finding guys inside, and that's exactly what Penn State wants to try to stop.
DeRose up top. Rodriguez rings the bar.
That was
a rocket.
They're trying to play a little two-man game with Penn State shorties here, looking for the screen to see if it opens anything up, then get it through X.
Here comes Burke. He scored 4 goals last season when these two teams met in Happy Valley. It was a 1-goal win by Penn State, but it was a nice game there for Colin Burke. Burke, that one skips away and comes up to midfield. Can Fairfield keep it in? They can. Nope, an over and back call. We'll give it to Penn State. Trip Trainer brings it in. Unsettled situation with numbers if they want it. Shot. Just a little high for Trainer.
Yeah, that over and back, for people who haven't seen it before, that just started a couple years ago here in college lacrosse. Once you establish it in the box, basically it's a backcourt foul. So that's how Penn State got it. And right when the whistle blew, they took it on transition.
First real transition opportunity for either team today. Not surprising, though, considering the pace that Fairfield likes to play at.
Yeah, Penn State's going to need to use transition if they can. You know, when you're missing a couple of your big guns, you can get some.
Foltz to O'Keefe, and he's got it.
And that's the man that needs to break out for Penn State if they're going to make a run towards May. And that's your issue. If you're in zone, a guy like that is going to find soft spots. They push the corner. The top point defender kind of sloughs over, and that is too much room for a guy like O'Keefe.
16th goal of the season for the sophomore from Syosset, New York. Of course, he broke the Penn State goal-scoring record, not just for a freshman, but for any player, with 51 goals as a freshman last year. Really burst onto the scene for the Nittany Lions.
Not a bad first year.
It's decent. Got 21 points so far as a sophomore, as he has certainly had to adapt to some different types of roles with a man out of the lineup. A loose ball scrum here, and Penn State wins it again. 3 for 3 for the Nittany Lions so far this afternoon at the X.
See Will Fox starting to grind a little bit. You know, you're not going to see any panic out of Will. He's a senior, he's seasoned, and he's also a bull. So he's going to try and wind down, try to wear you down over time. We'll see how it goes. But Penn State, in the meantime, their wing play has been excellent this year. They get out with another one.
Under 2 minutes to go in this opening quarter. Penn State looking to take its first lead of the afternoon as O'Keefe briefly lost it and draws the flag.
Yeah, there's a little hold there that the official called. So now Penn State's got a little flag down. They're going to try and get the best shooting opportunity they can.
Skip pass across to Keenan. Feed! Oh, it just couldn't quite be corralled by Foltz. Just a little wide, but that will trigger the penalty.
I'll tell you what, that's when lacrosse is at its most fun. When the ball is slinging around like that. I mean, that was a great look on that extra pass. And you can kind of play a little bit looser when the flag's down.
And so our first man-up opportunity here for Penn State this afternoon, but it has not been a good man-up unit so far this year. Just 2 for 14 on the season. 14% so far. Certainly a number that Coach Jeff Tambroni would like to boost up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, now you got a Fairfield unit that plays a zone defense on 6v6 that well. Let's see if they can play a man down against a struggling man up for Penn State, who has been able to get O'Keefe open on the 6v6.
He has certainly had his opportunity stepping down toward the top so far this afternoon.
Little hidden ball trick behind.
Back out on top. Shot doesn't get through. Crowd off of one of Fairfield's helmets. Loose ball is picked up here by Penn State. Still time on the man up. 2 seconds, 1. The man up is released, so we're back to even. O'Keefe across and tic-tac-toe. Clockwork for the Nittany Lions, and it's 2-1 Penn State.
You know, it's interesting in lacrosse, there are so many goals that are scored within the 5 seconds after a man up is over. And you can see Fairfield's looking at the man coming back in out of the box. Penn State never stops banging the ball as if it's still on man up. And that little hesitation cost Fairfield on that goal right there.
O'Keefe to Foltz, and Spillane puts the exclamation point on it. His 10th goal of the season. And the junior from Franklin Square, New York, has Penn State in the lead for the first time today.
And this is a momentum moment for Penn State here. If they get this face-off, get back on offense, you're going to see that sideline kind of explode a little bit.
A little under a minute left in this opening quarter. Once again, Arceri wins it. Gets it to O'Keefe, and one more offensive set here for Penn State before the break.
40 seconds in lacrosse is plenty of time. Get the right personnel on. They have an end-of-quarter package that they can use. Fairfield will most likely go out, press a little bit, see if they can get them to make a mistake.
At what point do you go here if you're Penn State? Is there a time?
Depends on who you have on the field, right? If you have, Ament, you let him make the decision. Here, I'm sure Tambroni probably told these guys when to go. You can see them cycling through now.
10 seconds left in the quarter. O'Keefe has it with 7, skips it across, doesn't get through. Nice play by Fairfield. The loose ball, and that will bring us to the end of quarter number 1. It started a little slow, but things heating up here in Fairfield toward the end of the first half. Penn State scoring the final 2, including one rifle from Mac O'Keefe. We'll be back with the second quarter here from Fairfield on Lax Sports Network. Welcome back here to Fairfield. Lax Sports Network's College Game of the Week coverage continues here on Tuesday. A doubleheader from Hofstra University. First at 4 p.m. It's women's action as the Pride hosts Columbia. Then at 7, Seth Tierney's men's team will look to knock off another ranked opponent when number 16 Lehigh visits Schuart Stadium. A college lacrosse doubleheader Tuesday, March 20th, only here on Lax Sports Network. And we go back to the Face-Off X here to start the second quarter as Travis Eldridge and Greg Gorenlian are back with you. It's been a dominant performance here from Penn State so far, 4 for 4, as Gerard Arceri has really taken care of business.
Yeah, he's done a great job burying his exits. Now they're going to go with Bill McMenamin, actually another St. Augustine prep kid. So, it's tough to jump in there and try to get your first face-off against a guy who's on a roll, but Bill's trying to tie him up right now.
And Arceri still able to win it. 5 for 5 for Penn State so far, and another offensive set, a chance to continue to build on the momentum of this as they've scored 2 in a row.
Yeah, now you're going to see this offense start to calm down a little bit and be like, all right, well, we're getting these draws, so if we can get a little make-it-take-it going on, we can puff our chests out a little bit and try to create a lead.
Momentum-wise, it's just so huge when you know you're going to get that next possession.
100%. And psychologically, for everyone plays faster. Look at the offense right now, spinning the ball, feeling confident.
O'Keefe stings the top.
O'Keefe is a bad man, and if he knows that he's going to get a ton of touches moving forward, watch out.
Mac O'Keefe's second of the day. He's now got 17 on the season, and this was smoking.
Perfect. That's a coach's dream right there. He's going to catch it every time, and he's going to put it where it needs to be. So now for Fairfield, they have to sit there as a veteran squad and say, okay, we need to stop the bleeding. So McMenamin's out again on the next draw against Gerard. You can tell they have a wing real deep back. Gerard's known for popping it forward for goals. They don't want to give that up.
And once again, Arceri is just on fire to start this game.
Yeah, he's feeling it. And when you have a guy who's that talented and he's confident, he's warm. We'll see what happens with Fairfield. We'll see what they come up with. In the meantime, Penn State back on 0.
Chance to continue to add to this 2-goal advantage. Scored 3 straight here, the Nittany Lions. Step down shot. And that one goes.
So we had talked earlier about the zone defense and how effective it is at stopping people and forcing them to shoot from the outside. When your goalie's hot, it's phenomenal. But right now, Penn State shooters are looking like the Warriors outside. These are deep shots, and they're stinging corners.
Robbie Black, with his 4th goal of the season in Fairfield, wants a timeout to talk things over.
Yeah, that's a smart move right here. Bring your boys back in. Let them know. We've been here before. Meanwhile, Penn State's in their huddle saying, let's keep doing what we're doing.
Well, this seems like a good time to talk about your playing days here, Greg. We went into the archives and we found a stellar picture of you. It's unfortunate you didn't bring back the eye black here today.
I'll tell you what, that's a picture of me in a good mood, too.
You look thrilled to be there. Of course, Greg was a face-off guy there at Penn State, coming from Springfield High School outside of Philadelphia. And then now you've got hair, though. You went the opposite way. What?
One thing changed, right? This guy.
There it is.
Yep, Mrs. B said no more of that. Those were good years, though, man. Happy Valley was good to me. Shout out to the Burroughs Street there. But, yeah, I was part of this rivalry for a long time, and coming to Fairfield was always a slugfest, old school ECAC rivalry. And, it's great what they've done with the complex and everything here. It's beautiful. They had the ML playoffs here a couple of years ago. Yep. So, both of these programs with opportunities to continue to build, continue to get better.
It's got to be cool for you to have a chance to call your alma mater here today.
It is. It's very cool. Coach Tambro was pretty excited to hear that I was doing that. I know I'm going to get ragged on it later about my performance, so we'll see.
Yeah, he made sure to tell us he's going to listen back to the broadcast afterward, as Penn State has a 4-1 lead here on Fairfield in the second quarter. We go back to the X, and once
Joe
again,
DeLasho now. So now they got Joe DeLasho, next man up against Gerard.
Third different face-off guy, and same result for Arceri.
Now the difference is right there. Gerard has been popping the ball out forward and to his left shoulder a lot. Joe forced him backwards. So he's like, all right, if you're going to win the clamp, you're at least not going to get transition on us. And little tiny details like that are veteran moves.
He's taken a lot of face-offs in just 2 years in Happy Valley so far.
Yeah, especially with the offense they had last year, there's a lot on his shoulders right now, and he's lived up to expectations. I'm proud of him.
Another opportunity here. Penn State scored 4 straight.
Fairfield back into a man-to-man defense now.
Penn State shooting him out of that zone here. That shot can't get past McKee, and the sophomore makes a nice save to get Fairfield an offensive opportunity.
They needed that save. He came up big. Penn State riding hard. I mean, there have been moments so far that feels like Penn State's playing with extra players on the field. I mean, they're everywhere. Fairfield needs to keep their composure and get this ball over the midline.
McKee's got nowhere to go with it. They finally bring it over the
midfield
stripe, and it's another turnover.
Yeah, so in lacrosse you have to have 3 players and a goalie back on defense. And everybody broke up field kind of in a slight panic to get the ball over.
And so yet another offensive set here. And this Fairfield defense at this point just probably needs a break.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big opportunity. And like we talked about, this is not a particularly young team. I mean, they've got some seniors on this squad that need to calm guys down and get them across the field.
That shot sails a little wide from Ryan Keenan. Keenan, of course, wearing number 16 for Penn State, which carries a special meaning, remembering Connor Darcy, the former Penn State goalie who tragically died in a car accident a couple of years ago.
Connor was a great kid, and this whole community wrapped their arms around the family and the alumni. We've all come together, and it's great to see. Just a small symbol like that means a lot.
And here he is spinning at the top. Keenan, picked up there by J.B. Smith. Penn State very content to take their time, get a good offensive set here.
Mm-hmm. So now they've got the defender hung up. They can kind of sit back there for a second, figure things out, while guys are just going to cut furiously to find open spots.
Keenan, long goal line extended, shot kicked away. Race toward the sideline, and it stays with Penn State.
Every part of this game right now is contested to the last second. Every shot that goes out of bounds, every ground ball. Penn State's going to try to, Penn State's transferring to the box now. They're going to get fresh offense on, and Fairfield didn't go with them. So now you've got some tired defenders out there with completely fresh legs on offense for Penn State.
You get the sense this Penn State team is so hungry to get clicking again. So many high expectations coming into the year, ranked top 15 in just about every poll, but 4-3 earlier so far this season, and just seems like things haven't clicked as that shot sails a little wide.
Yeah, I mean, well, you got a team that's pretty young still that had a lot of success last year, about a year or two ahead of what a lot of the alumni thought were going to happen. And then they were healthy the whole season. This year, they've dealt with some devastating injuries to very key parts. So now it's growing up time.
Here's Matt Donnelly. Kicks it out top to Foltz, and the bounce shot goes. Dylan Foltz, he's got 3 assists today. Now he adds a goal. Penn State's clicking with 5 in a row.
And this is an opportunity now where you're seeing these young guys starting to get their shots. They're starting to fall. Fairfield has got to come up with somebody who can go out there, get a possession for them. And they played great defense at the beginning of the quarter. But it's the giveaways, right? Throwing the ball out of bounds, offsides. And when you're not winning face-offs, you just can't afford to do that kind of stuff.
Well, that just kind of snowballs everything. When you don't get the offensive possession on a face-off, it just continues to let Penn State get clicking here. Arceri, once again, another face-off win and another Penn State opportunity. And Greg, we were talking to Coach Tambroni earlier this week, and I thought it was interesting when he said, last year they start the season 10-0, they got to #1 in the country, and he kind of hinted at the fact that maybe they didn't get enough adversity early on, and so when it came late, they just didn't have a chance to recover when you're in the grind of the Big Ten. This year's been the opposite. They've got plenty of adversity right off the bat, and now it's trying to straighten things out as they get ready for Big Ten play.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we kind of compared this current Big Ten lacrosse conference to like the SEC of football, where you're getting tested every week. Oh, my goodness.
Everything going for Mac O'Keefe. It's his third of the day. Penn State is on fire here at Fairfield.
I mean, Mac O'Keefe is just a pure scorer. And he can rip it from the outside, he can get inside, and we can even see right there, falling down, diving, and he's a big dude. He just truck sticks his defender as he's falling and sticks it on the hip of the goalie. But going back to what you had said, the adversity up front is what really creates a champion later in the season. And, both of these teams have an opportunity going into tough conference schedules to become something elite at the end of the year.
Mac O'Keefe with his third goal of the day. He's got 4 points so far this afternoon if you add in the assist. And something he did over this summer was go up north of the border, play in Canada. He got some box experience. And it's something that you notice. We saw the shot from last year. We know he could shoot it from downtown like we saw for his first couple of goals. But the ability to cut through some traffic and make a shot like he just did, you see a little bit of the box influence there.
Yeah, box lacrosse is in tight. You have to have an amazing stick. Canadian players grow up. They don't think about the whole left-right situation. You're one side just like you would be in hockey. You have to have a phenomenal stick. And American-born players that are playing box lacrosse are becoming better and better. We saw Tommy Schreiber, one of the greatest lacrosse players on the planet, go play some indoor, and he came back and he was better the year after he won an MVP. So it obviously correlates very well.
So Penn State has now scored 6 in a row here on Fairfield after the Stags struck first to take a 1-0 lead. So really only 6 minutes into this second quarter, it's all Nittany Lions. And the biggest issue right now for Fairfield is just finding a way to get some possessions. Penn State 8 for 8 now at the faceoff X. We've seen Fairfield go to 3 different guys here to work against Arceri. And it looks like it's back to Will Fox, the original faceoff guy here for the Stags.
And the issue is the panic button when it's pushed by the coaching staff at the faceoff X, and you just start rotating guy after guy after guy, the whole entire sideline feels that.
A big hit here in the middle, and it's a push, and it gives it right back to Penn State. Make it 9 for 9.
Yeah, that takes the wind out of your sails. You thought you came up with a loose one. But there was a push. But like I was saying, you need to give one guy, just let him kind of go out there and fight his way through this. Will's a senior. You got Joe DeLascio, who's an older guy as well. You got Liam Lynch on the sideline as well. But give somebody 5 or 6 or 7 draws in a row. Billy McMenamin got tossed out there for 1 or 2, and he lost them, and then that was it. So, we'll see what they decide to do. Even they have an opportunity, they could put a pole out there if they want to try and slow things up, so who knows.
How much is the face-off position a rhythm thing? Is there a rhythm you can get into?
Yeah, I tell people it's like the equivalent of telling the quarterback, why don't you go out there and throw passes until you throw an incomplete pass, right? You got to let guys get the rhythm. You have the officials out there that have a cadence, and you have to get in the rhythm, and confidence is everything. So if you feel confident that your coach is going to let you go out and do your thing, then you can be an unstoppable force at times.
So Fairfield finally able to get a turnover and finally an offensive set, and they capitalize.
Was phenomenal.
What a finish from Jack Brennan. The quick stick goes, and it ends Penn State's 6-goal run.
that's a situation where your team really needs a goal, right? And the conventional wisdom would be, all right, we got it on offense. Let's hold it now for an extended period of time. But that right there is pure chemistry. That's two teammates that know each other very well, and the trust to throw that across the goal. Look at this, right on his ear, man. Puts it straight in. I mean, that's a gutsy play. And that's the kind of stuff that your whole team can feed off of. If they get another one, if they can get a face-off win, they get something else to help their momentum, we've got ourselves a game here.
Jack Brennan, the junior from Manhasset, New York, getting it from Dylan Beckwith with the pretty assist. So we go back to the X and see if Fairfield can try to solve the puzzle that has been Gerard Arceri so far today.
Fairfield's next goal scored by number 20, Jack.
And this is Will's game right here. Grind, grind, grind. Try to force you to exit in a place you don't want to. Gerard does a great job getting to his feet and pulling the ball out.
So Arceri once again wins it 10 for 10 for Penn State so far today.
I want people at home to understand how incredible it is to go 10 for 10 in a Division I lacrosse game.
Well, you're talking about two of the top 15 guys in the nation working against each other, and the guy who currently came into this game ranked 4th in Arceri, just completely dominating.
Yeah, and you know what? It's interesting. So you have Gerard, who was a traditional speed guy last year, has added the grind game to his repertoire, and then Will Fox, who's a traditional grind guy, is trying to get a little bit faster on the whistle. So, you know, these styles started at polar opposites, and they're trying to add things to their game.
What it means is Penn State has yet another offensive set, and despite Fairfield ending the run, this is what we have seen for most of this second quarter, is Penn State holding the ball.
Yeah, and you know what? In lacrosse, in college lacrosse, there's a subjective shot clock that the officials believe if you're not going to the rack, they'll put in a 30-second shot clock. And we haven't even seen a hint of that today because both teams are going right at the cage. They're getting in their sets and they're going.
O'Keefe on the flip. As now we have the shot clock on for the first time today. They must have heard you in the booth, Greg.
All right, fantastic.
Here comes Nick Spillane to O'Keefe, and that is just silly.
That is offhand. That's left-handed with almost no angle, sticking it in the far corner.
Mac O'Keefe
Watch this.
Slinging missiles.
This is one motion. Kids at home, catch, rip. No extra cradle, nothing. Mac O'Keefe can shoot overhand, sidearm, underhand with his feet, I'm sure, if he wanted to. I mean, this is a kid who has been practicing these shots his whole career.
O'Keefe now has 4 goals this afternoon. We're still in the middle of the second quarter.
Let's not get it twisted either. Like, O'Keefe is a phenomenal shooter, but he doesn't make these shots unless the Penn State offense is slinging the ball around and making their defenders move.
Yeah.
And this is a pure team effort offense right now.
And it has continued to start there at the face-off X with Arceri. He wins it again, 11 for 11 today. And yet another offensive opportunity here for Penn State. They've scored 7 of the last 8 goals.
You're Fairfield on the sideline right now. You're an attackman on Fairfield. You're saying, come on, D, just give us one. You know, get us back in this game. Let us get a chance to get a goal.
It gets to the point they just haven't had the ball in their stick.
Yeah.
Almost a quarter.
And I've seen it. You get into a quicksand game where once you do get the ball, you start to act like a little bit unconventional and do things you're not usually supposed to do, and it just spirals out of control.
Keenan back up top to Brian Townsend. Swings it over a hill. Falls down behind the back feed, finds its way through to Keenan. And the Fairfield defense a little confused there, but they recover nicely. Hill up top and just a little too high, but backed up there by the Nittany Lions.
I mean, even the little things. Every shot's backed up. Penn State's really feeling it right now. All right, so here's a break for Fairfield. Okay, a moving pick on O'Keefe, so now the ball's going to go back to Fairfield. They have their chance.
We saw them score the last time they had this opportunity.
And look at that Penn State ride.
On the ride. And Penn State's got numbers, but that pass just out of O'Keefe's reach. He had a lot of daylight there if he could haul that in, but back comes Fairfield.
I like that clear right there, that standard old school high school clear. All right, boys, I'm just going to take it in my own hands, bring it straight up.
It's the old Matt Abbott specialty.
Yeah. No, but that's good to see. You know, Beckwith just decides, I'm taking this myself.
So as we tick toward 4 minutes to go in this opening half, Fairfield trying to steal a little bit of this momentum back. It has been all Penn State in this first half. They've dominated it at the face-off X, had great opportunities.
So now it's interesting because Knies has basically just been hanging out. Now he's on defense. Let's see how this first shot that tests him goes.
Step down shot saved by Knies.
Seemed to go pretty well.
Brendan Quinn couldn't get it by the sophomore. And a chance here for Trip Traynor.
And then if you're Coach Copeland right there, you were really hoping to get a shot inside, right? A high percentage one. You finally got the ball back. Now Penn State, last time we talked about there was a little bit of a shot clock situation. They may just start to slow it down a little bit and say, hey, we can hold for good shots now that we have a cushion.
Tough thing for Fairfield too is when you play such a deliberate offense and you slow it down, when you get down by larger numbers, it's a little bit more uncomfortable for them to play fast.
Yes, and you know what? We were impressed with the speed of their offense early.
Cole Willard gets it to go. Everybody getting into the act for the Nittany Lions. It's 8-2.
I mean, that was a great wing dodge. Came right in. And here's the other thing. Cole Willard just ran right through the crease. He didn't have it. No one touched him until one of his teammates high-fived him after the score. So Fairfield right now is just a step slow, and this is all emotion right now. There's a lack of emotion. You're sitting there as a college kid sitting there going, are we about to get blown out? And that's what they're worried about rather than focusing on the game plan, and they need to focus on the game plan.
Cole Willard, the freshman from Cazenovia in New York, ranked number 71 by Ty Zanders of Recruiting Rundown. Is his top freshman in the country.
Good job, Ty.
Just his second goal of the season. We'll see if our Sari can stay perfect here.
Cole Willard unassisted at 3:03 in the quarter. It's 28 Willard unassisted at 3 minutes.
Loose ball. And finally, Fairfield able to win a draw.
There you go. And the fans are up on their feet. They're like, all right, we got one. And that's what I talked about with Will Fox. Give him time. He'll grind it. They're not going to be like smooth, pretty wins all the time, but he doesn't care. It's about getting the job done.
I don't know if you think this, but I'm pretty sure I just jinxed him. It's like a perfect game situation.
Yeah.
Not mention it.
I mean, to win that many faceoffs in a row at this level is just absurd. We've seen a couple guys do it this year.
We have seen a number of perfect
Noah Rack
games.
did it for UMass.
Yeah.
Obviously Trevor, that's the company Gerard is keeping right now, as advertised.
So Fairfield looking to take advantage of this opportunity. They draw a flag, and so this will trigger it as we will see the Stags on the man up for the first time today. And for as much as Fairfield has struggled offensively at times this year, their man up is good. 11 for 21. They're at 52% entering this game, so we'll see if they can cash in on a nice opportunity here.
Yeah, 52% is really, really good. So now there's an opportunity where you can kind of sit back and go, all right, we have the ball. We got our man up. This is what we've been practicing all week. This unit is very good. If they can get a goal here, maybe get another face-off win, have something, because now you got under 2 minutes going into the half. If you have some positive momentum going into the half, it's a game changer.
Minute penalty on Kevin Hill as Fairfield goes on the man up for the first time today. It's Colin Burke working from behind. Skip pass all the way across. Feed down low, and the bounce shot goes.
And you know what? What's usually indicative of an offensive man-up unit that's very good is the ball never stops. I mean, maybe there was one or two cradles that entire series right there, and the ball was going. Then you get a skip pass. The whole defense has to turn around and look. You had one guy slide upfield away from his man, leaving him wide open, and the extra pass was there. So now it's Will Fox's chance. Get back into this game for your team. Start moving things. But the wings have to come up big. This is a 3-on-3 face-off. These are not one-on-one face-offs right now.
Jack Brennan putting that one home. The transfer from Colgate. The 12th time this year that man up cashing in for Fairfield. Brennan's second goal of the day. Got a duel here, and Fairfield able to make it 2 in a row.
So right there, Gerard has the clamp. Will Fox waits for him to start to exit, lifts his right hand up, ball comes out, and off that counter move, Fairfield is now on a face-off winning streak.
So
Good
under
stuff.
a minute to go, down by 5, a chance to continue to gain some momentum here. They've scored 2 of the last 3, the Stags.
And this is what they needed, right? They got a minute. They try to get this last shot.
Here comes Joe Rodriguez. Skips it out front. Beckwith loses it.
Awesome check.
And Trip Trainer there for the loose ball. Once again, a good ride. We've got a push. They'll say a loose ball push. Fairfield keeps. 17 seconds to go.
Carlisle with that back check. Got the butt end.
Six seconds. They got to go. Beckwith to Quinn. Shot a little wide.
Quinn caught that a little bit later than he wanted it, and he's in his right hand with no angle.
And Fairfield going for the desperation opportunity. Couldn't cash in, but a nice little run there for the Stags, getting a little momentum back toward the end of the first half, but Penn State still with an 8-3 lead at the break. Welcome back here to Fairfield, Connecticut, our CAA game of the week. Penn State with an 8-3 lead at the half over the Stags here on St. Patrick's Day. Travis Eldridge, Greg Gorenlian back with you. And let's take a look at some of these first half highlights. It was the Mac O'Keefe show, Greg.
Yeah, I mean, Penn State's offense slinging the ball around. Mac is finding soft spots in that zone. And when they did switch to man-to-man, they used some slip picks, and he got open anyway.
Mac O'Keefe with 4 goals and an assist for a 5-point first half. Of course, after he scored 51 goals last season, he struggled a bit here to find his way without Grande Men on that offense, but it didn't look that way here in the first half. But Fairfield able to score 2 of the final 3 here to get a little bit of the momentum back.
Yeah, they won the last 2 faceoffs of the half, and they put 2 of the last 3 goals in. And if you're them on their home turf, you got to sit there and look at your guys and say, hey, look, it's time to go. You got to save the season.
Great opportunities there in transition a little bit to get Fairfield back going here. And we now have Fairfield coach Andy Copeland. Coach, what's the biggest thing you guys need to fix here in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, very clearly the face-off stuff. I was proud of the guys from battling and getting the last 2 of the half there and kind of giving us a chance to just creep our way back into this thing. But it's kind of been that like 2-headed monster between not having a whole lot of success at the face-off and then a couple really unfortunately just unfortunate clears. I think we had a couple clearing faux pas there in the second half, and it just led to more possession time for those guys. And those guys are really dynamic offensively, and Mcavoy O'Keefe is one heck of a dynamic shooter. And we obviously talked all week about trying to account for him, but just a couple breakdowns there early. So a lot of lacrosse left right now, but we certainly could use the ball more.
Yeah, Coach, like you said, a lot of lacrosse left. What was the message to your team from an emotional standpoint at halftime to say, hey, look, there's 5 goals. It's not that big of a deal. What did you try to deliver to them?
Yeah, we really challenged our senior class. I mean, we have we have who we think is a really good face-off guy in our own, and Will Fox right now, so we challenged him quite a bit. We challenged a couple of the guys down at close, 2 more seniors, and one of our starting senior LSM, Spencer Noonan. We have some experience at that end of the field right now, and we just didn't really play like an experienced group. So we all go as our seniors go, and right now we need a little bit more out of that class.
Coach, good luck in the second half. Thanks for the time.
Appreciate it, guys.
Good luck, Coach.
Bye.
Coach Andy Copeland in his 10th season here with Fairfield. As we look back at the face-off X, 11 for 13 in that first half for Gerard Arceri, certainly living up to the billing as a top 5 face-off guy in the country.
Yeah, 100%. He's going against Will scrap you, man. And like we talked about in the pregame, he will grind you. And his hope is that he can just outlast Gerard so that towards the third and fourth quarters, they start to get more and more face-off wins. And Gerard's job is to just keep pace and keep changing his exits up so Will can't start to catch on.
We'll see if the second half brings some better luck here for the Stags on St. Patrick's Day. As Mac O'Keefe, we mentioned it in the highlights, just an absolute show. And for Penn State, with the adversity they've dealt with, especially on the offensive side of the field, for them to have a performance like this, if they can build on it, it would be a big step forward as they look ahead to a very competitive Big Ten in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and their challenge now is to be as good in the second halves as they can be in the first half, and that's going to be, can they close the door on this?
Remember last week, Penn State had a lead on Cornell, but Cornell outscored them down the stretch, putting up 6 goals in that fourth quarter to come back and win 9-7. As we have a whistle, and it'll keep with Penn State here, another face-off win for the Nittany Lions.
Yes, but it was hard-earned, and those are the types of face-off Coach Copeland's looking for. Will, are you going to go out there and make this an absolute bloodbath and make them earn these face-off wins? And that's a good sign if you're Fairfield. They didn't get the possession, but they can grind.
Penn State back on offense, somewhere where they have been very comfortable today. Here's Foltz to Hill. Thought about it, instead sends it back around.
They got it. The defender hung up again. Pushed GLE.
Spillane decides to back it out.
Spillane's looked really comfortable today running this offense from behind.
Skip pass up top to Hill. The laser low soars a little wide.
They're still moving. You know, they haven't lost a step from the first half. The ball's hot. Guys are moving and cutting. They've had a lot of success kind of drawing and dumping and getting O'Keefe open. Let's see if it continues. They have a shorty on O'Keefe right now.
Pass in front, and Foltz buries it. Keenan to Foltz, his second of the day. 5th point of the afternoon for Dylan. Penn State strikes first in the second half.
Great players affect the play even when they're not in it. And O'Keefe was at the very top of the box on this with a shorty that was totally out. There was no second slide inside, so once the man went, there was a wide open cut inside the crease. So O'Keefe is becoming an issue even when he's not even in the play right now.
Dylan Foltz had 9 points in this entire season up until this point. The redshirt sophomore from Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. He already has 5 today.
It's getting hot.
Nice little afternoon for a guy who started the last couple of games here, and it has certainly been looks like he's starting to find some comfortability in this offense. Will Fox able to pick up that loose ball.
Will Fox just made, people don't understand how hard it is to run full speed at a ball that's just about to go out of bounds. And as a senior, stops full speed, picks it up, takes the hit, and gets his team the ball. That's great.
Face-off win here for Fairfield, so chance to build as they trail by 6 here early in the third quarter.
So now your Penn State's defense, you're pretty fresh still. You gave up a couple goals in the half. You got something to prove right now.
Here comes Colin Burke working from X.
He's got defense hung up, so now you're going to see crazy cutters and a lot of picks out front.
There's the pick, the jump shot way high and wide.
I like the idea there. If you sit back there too long, that's where you start to get the shot clock. So he decided to push it GLE to a strong hand and look for that shot. If you don't get it in lacrosse, obviously, first person closest to the ball after it goes out, you get the ball back. So why not go for it?
There was a flag over by the sideline around where Will Fox scooped up that loose ball. So it's Fairfield that's going to go on the man up here. Something that they have been very good at. 1-for-1 here today. Now significantly over 50% so far this season in the man up opportunities.
Yeah, he drew a push when he picked up that ground ball. We didn't see the flag go down when it happened. But now this is opportunity. You go 2 for 2 on man up.
for pushing a 12:39.
30-second push on Penn State.
Watch the ball movement. It's just really crisp.
As you said that.
Yeah, I'm going to stop saying stuff like that.
Loose ball. Just
look at this contested ground ball.
6 seconds left on the penalty, 3. And the penalty is wiped off, but Fairfield keeps possession here.
There were 9 guys in that one spot battling for a ground ball. I mean, you're telling me these two teams don't want it right now. That was great.
A little bit of desperation mode for both of these teams here as non-conference play comes to a close.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams hoped for a better start, but there's nothing you can do about that right now. Now you got to win this one.
Beckwith, the bounce shot, just kind of a weird angle for him, and it doesn't get through. Trainer scoops up the ground ball.
Great GB, running through sticks, running through body checks. He's got a slow break he's created because of that.
What a catch! And it finished!
That is this is playing box right here. I mean, watch this catch that O'Keefe did so casually.
Mac O'Keefe across to Dylan Foltz. This is gorgeous.
I mean, watch this. He didn't even slow down. Just one hand, boop, okay, that's cool. And then I'm just going to find this backside pass because I'm awesome.
And a quick
and then an
stick
alley-oop.
slam dunk on the backside.
That is a team that is feeling it right now. And that's, this is what Coach Copeland talked about, right? Will Fox makes a hard-nosed play, draws a penalty, they get the ball on offense, they get a man up out of it, then they get the offensive possession again, and then you get a less than desirable shot out of it, and it turns into a slow play goal the other way, and that's just a backbreaker.
Penn State goes up by 7 here, early part of this third quarter, and once again back to the X, a place where Penn State was great in the first half. Fairfield has found a way to get a couple here at the beginning part of the second.
So Fairfield's wings are camping out on Gerard's left shoulder, assuming that he's going to pull it forward. Last time he forced it, and it cost him. This time he takes his time.
Skip pass, O'Keefe a little wide with that one. Look out along the sideline.
Yeah, they should be handing out helmets when people are coming in the stadium because I want no part of O'Keefe hitting me in the head with a ball.
It's a good thing there's a snow pile over there because people are in harm's way.
That snow will be here until mid-August.
This rate.
So we're going back to this zone defense you're seeing from Fairfield.
You couldn't pay me enough money to stand in front of a Mac O'Keefe shot.
No, not a chance.
Especially on a day like today. High 30s, low 40s. Don't want any part of that.
Yeah.
Skip
Great
pass
skip.
across, another shot. That one rings the bar.
Man, it's just interesting. I mean, Fairfield's got their sticks up in the lanes. They're moving. They're communicating. You can hear them from here. And Penn State's just slinging it from their hip right through the zone.
It's really been an impressive offensive performance here. It was a slow start for Penn State. There was a feeling out process, but once it started going,
yeah,
it has been nonstop.
I mean, what they're doing is they're trying to stretch the D. So you'll see a man has the ball in his hands, tries to get.
O'Keefe again.
What is
might have torn the net.
What's the net budget for Fairfield Lacrosse? Man.
That thing was a missile.
Someone said something to O'Keefe before this game because there was some anger behind that one. I mean, they're, like I was saying before that shot, they're doing a good job. The ball holder is trying to draw that second guy to slide a step or two towards him, and then they banging it adjacent to each other. And then once in a while they throw that skip, which makes the whole defense have to turn and react. And that's where they're getting the shot right off of the catch.
That's 5 today for Mac O'Keefe.
Will Fox has been battling better. I think he's starting to get the rhythm of this a little bit. Now he's got to finish it with a win. So you're looking at Fairfield. The shorty's just sitting on Gerard's left shoulder. Will pulled that one out.
Fairfield gets the face-off win. By the way, welcoming any of you that just watched Towson and Duke, the Blue Devils able to survive a trip to Johnny Unitas Stadium, coming away with a 2-goal win. But the Tigers looking to be turning the tides a little bit.
Yeah, they had high
coming
expectations.
Off that big win over Ohio State a week ago.
Yeah, they had high expectations coming in. Coach Nadalin and Coach Kachi doing a fantastic job down there in Townsend.
Remember, you can see Duke again here tomorrow on Lax Sports Network as they continue this weekend road trip as they head to Ohio to take on Cleveland State.
Coach Sheridan
Cleveland State
doing things out there, man.
Some nice wins here in the last couple of weeks. They have that win over Air Force, took down Lafayette.
Yeah.
Good stuff in year 2 of that Vikings program.
They're going to be good, and Coach Sheridan is the right man for that job.
As Fairfield looks to steal maybe a tiny bit of momentum back here. Have to think just seeing the ball go back to the back of the net would be a big help.
Yeah. Yeah, they need it. And it's one of those things where you're like, we're putting in all this effort to see it pay off and get a goal would be great. Will Fox is battling better now. He's catching up. So it can definitely be a momentum starter for them.
Here comes Joe Rodriguez. He scored that first goal. He's been quiet since for Fairfield. The senior, a big part of this offense. As Colin Burke's shot didn't quite get through, but scooped up here by the Stags.
So that's the difference right now in these two offenses. Curran just caught that ball on the wing and took a huge crow hop and an extra cradle, whereas when Penn State shooters are catching it right on their ear and ripping it within a split second, and that's what Fairfield needs to do. They need to sling the ball around and shoot right away when they're open.
Here's Rodriguez. He's got he had a short stick on him.
Penn State shorties are young and super athletic.
Here comes Burke again.
Wow, all over his hands.
And he finally gets one to go.
I mean, that's great control of your stick. His defender was draped all over him, and he took his time.
It's a great matchup. You look at Burke, guy who was a second-team All-CAA player last year, going up against Chris Sabia, who was on the USILA preseason Player of the Year watch list.
Yeah.
Preseason All-American by Inside Lacrosse as well. That was a nice play there for the Fairfield junior.
That's kind of the only shot you can really take against Sabia. He's all over your hands. To turn your hips and shoot directly out of your turn, out of that roll is great. This war is getting intense a little bit here. If you didn't see the first half, you would have no idea that it was that kind of a face-off split.
Gerard Arceri won the first 10 face-offs of this game.
Yep, playing without a stick, so Fairfield's going to pick this ball up and go. And it's the wing play right now. Fairfield's kind of got a chip on their shoulder. You can tell Coach Copeland challenged them at halftime. They're coming out with a lot of fire right now. And every face-off win is a mini battle won for them. They can notch on their belt.
Trying to string a couple of goals together, the Stags. Is that a concern for Arceri moving forward in knowing what happened last year, starting so fast to the year, and then by the time it got to Big Ten play, some of the struggles he had?
Gerard last year, I mean, people don't understand the difference between a 22-year-old and a freshman in college. And I don't care how fast your hands are, right? I think what Gerard ran into is just bigger, stronger guys.
Yeah.
And that's why they would put Billy Lombardi. But also Gerard was elite at one thing, and he's had to add to that. Great check in the crease right
pass didn't quite get through. And Kobe Canese, who has not had a lot of work to do here today, able to scoop up the ground ball.
As long as Gerard varies his exits, he'll be okay. But Will Fox, if you stop moving, will grind underneath you and counter. So now Penn State's got the ball in O again. Let's see if they take the air out or if they try to go with a little bit more of that breakneck speed that we saw at the beginning of the game.
Past the midway point of the third quarter here in Fairfield, Connecticut. Penn State and Fairfield in our CAA Game of the Week. Travis Eldridge and Greg Gorenlian here with you for this one. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone celebrating. Hopefully you're wearing your green.
Sure, everyone's out there just hanging out, drinking a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Having a mild day.
Nothing crazy whatsoever in this holiday.
Look at this constant movement. They're either coming off a pick, setting a pick, little hidden ball trick up top to get them to hesitate.
Behind the back feed from O'Keefe.
Look at this Globetrotter action right here. And Fairfield sticking right with them.
Keenan has his step and the bounce shot goes.
I mean, that people don't understand that for like 30 seconds straight, Penn State was banging the ball, constantly moving, 6 players, and Fairfield was right in their hip pocket. And at the very last second, 2 Fairfield defenders run into each other, and that's what you're going to get with constant motion, and that opened up a shot. So when you younger guys out there, when you don't have the ball, remember, you move like this, great things are going to happen.
Keenan's first of the day, the 12th for Penn State. And the Nittany Lions have it going here in the second half.
Fairfield's still, a little bit shy to move that long pole wing up. They're worried about the fast break. He'll cut in hard on Gerard as soon as the ball gets popped out.
Sari wins it to himself. He wants some.
Yeah.
He's got 5 goals this season, so he's not afraid to go with it.
He's athletic. He can handle his stick. He is, you got the TDs and the Trevors. He's another one where this is a new breed of face-off guy. They're not just random Fogos that can't catch and throw. They're athletes, and it's pretty cool.
Certainly saw that with Trevor playing this summer in the indoor box league out there in Colorado.
That league is awesome.
CCBLL expanding this year as well, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, that was great news to hear. And you got American college guys are super pumped about it.
Foltz stepped down and shot sails a little wide. For Penn State, as you look at what they have done this season, you had the overtime heartbreaking loss to Villanova as Spillane finds his way towards the cage. You have the loss to Robert Morris, which doesn't look quite as bad now with what Robert Morris has done, beating Marquette by 10 last week. Where do they stack up in your mind in this Big Ten?
It's interesting because we're all kind of waiting to see a game like this, right? Where can guys grow up really quick? Because the recruiting classes Coach Tambroni's brought in,
they've been great,
phenomenal. But when you get 2 of your top guys injured, and then you lost to Ponte last year, I mean, that's huge. I think talent-wise they stack up with anybody, especially when you're winning face-offs. They have a great goalie. Their defense is young and hungry and very talented, and they've grown up quick. If the offense starts to catch up and then Ament comes back, you've got a whole different team that can make a run at it in the Big Ten. But they're gonna have to learn quick. They're gonna have to grow up really fast. Obviously, the Robert Morris loss is like, oh my God, and then Robert Morris showed that they were actually pretty
legitimate.
Yeah.
It's Rodriguez, the bounce shot rings the bar, and it bounces out. It's been that kind of day for the Stags.
And Villanova is a super legitimate contender.
Yeah.
So,
I saw them down in Texas take down Yale in overtime, and that was an impressive performance against a Bulldog squad, which this Fairfield team knows is pretty good. Woo! Right in the stomach there for Knies.
Safe to say, Knies is not. He hasn't gotten cold.
No,
he was on his toes on that one, and that young man's going to be stinging for a few seconds there because
that hurts.
Like you had said, in this weather, you're going to feel that for a while. But that's another heartbreaking situation. You get a good break,
unsettled situation. You got numbers.
Finish.
Yeah.
The kids are playing hard. Like, it's not like Fairfield's putting their head down and just giving up, and Penn State's running all over them. Fairfield's playing hard. They're just not finishing on certain plays right now, and that's been the difference. Is one team's finishing, the other isn't.
Just terrific ball movement here for Penn State. By the way, if you weren't with us at halftime and you missed our interview with Grant Ament, the injured star for Penn State, he said at this point, really just week to week in trying to figure out when he can get that boot off of his foot. He still has the boot, as you can see him on the sideline today. Hoping he can get back sooner rather than later. Obviously, you would think eyeing the Big Ten play come the end of this month.
High character kid, works his butt off. You hate to see that. Fairfield, bullet. Oof.
An answer for the Stags, something going in the right direction, and they cut it to a 12-5 game.
Man, look at this play.
Great transition opportunity. Taylor Stroud, the freshman from Lloyd Harbor, New York.
High to high, overhand.
Ranked as one of the top 100 freshmen in the country by Ty Sanders entering this year, and that'll show you a little bit why.
And that was just great defense leading the transition. That's what we love lacrosse for, and that's why no lead is safe. So now it's Will Fox and his unit, their turn to try to keep things going.
A little sign of life here for the Stags as we wind down the third quarter here at Fairfield. And our Sari, that is just a great catch.
He's going to, I mean, he's going to, like I say, he's going to be just fine if he continues to vary the exits.
His fourth goal of the season, unassisted at 1 minute, 48 seconds.
So let's see, Penn State most likely will try to get the last shot on this, spin the ball.
Maybe take a possession shot if you need to. Everybody's favorite.
We're just all sitting around waiting for that rules committee.
They're definitely not a thing, those possession shots.
Just waiting for. I hope there was that face-off guys live on possession shots. Take the shot, make sure you get the ball back, get off the field. Yeah, they're spreading it out right now. Fairfield's sitting back on their zone, anticipating this.
Under a minute to go in this third quarter.
The last goal that Fairfield had was off a transition, off of a bad pass. They're hoping they can get something like that again. They don't want to go man-to-man and then give something up. So now we got 30-second shot clock.
About a 10-second difference between shot and game clock.
And that rule for the shot clock, it's got to hit the goalie or the net.
O'Keefe wide, does not reset it, so the shot clock's still at 10. Spillane's got to go quick.
Great double on the GLE.
Gets it back and the bounce shot goes. Tough angle, doesn't matter.
That is tough because as a player, I've been in these kinds of games, and you're Fairfield right now, you're standing over there on that, as an attackman or on the sideline, you're sitting there going, that was a textbook double team. Even our goalie was in on it, and they caught it and shot it and scored anyway. Maybe it's just not in the cards today, and you got to fight that because you got a whole nother quarter, and you got to play for some pride here. You got to end this game with everything you've got. Both wings on this face-off are watching the fast break. Girard can certainly score within 11 seconds.
Penn State, and I mentioned it at the top, maybe a little luck of the Irish here. I don't know if they have a lot of Irish heritage on the team, but it's working out well on St. Patrick's Day. Arceri wins it, 6 seconds, 5. One more chance, Hill rings the bar.
Well, State Patty's Day is turning out to be a good one for these guys so far.
Penn State has just about everything going their way so far in this one. They've got a 13-5 lead through 3 quarters here in our CAA Game of the Week in Fairfield. The Nittany Lions roaring so far today. We'll be back with the final quarter here on Lax Sports Network. First game going on currently on our Live 2 channel. You can see the second game coming up today, 4 p.m. Eastern here on Lax Sports Network, as we are back as Penn State has an 8-goal lead entering the fourth quarter against Fairfield in our CAA Game of the Week. Greg Grenlian and Travis Eldridge with you here. The Beast is going to have a line of fans to come up to the booth here as in between quarters. He's got a whole fan club going on.
Still waiting for a kid to go, didn't you used to be Greg Grenlian?
Yeah. Didn't you used to play? So we've got a flag down.
So Girard won clean to start the fourth quarter. He got rid of the ball and then got smoked from behind. So this is definitely going to be a personal foul.
Some frustrations boiling over here.
I mean, you're the wing for Fairfield, and you've been chasing Girard all day, and he just keeps getting the ball a second before you get to him at some point. It's like trying to sack Tom Brady, and he just keeps getting rid of it. Just like, all right, I'm just going to give you one anyway right after you get rid of the ball.
Though if as good as Penn State's offense has been here today, the one thing they have not been great at this season is the man-up opportunities. 0 for 1 this afternoon. Going to maybe improve some of those stats. They entering today 14% on the season.
They're using that hidden ball trick behind. Fairfield hasn't fallen for it yet, but I like the little wrinkle. All it takes is one player to be a step slow on man down, and you get your open shot.
Hill finally capitalizing for Penn State. Goal number 14 of the day for the Nittany Lions.
And that's just a really impressive shot, pinging the bottom corner. Steps in, no one takes him. That's cool, man. I'm feeling it anyway. Casual.
Time and room.
Yeah, look at this. Just casual, crosses his legs, and he finishes. Whoop.
Can we do more of that?
Whoop, whoop. I don't know. We'll have to see how that polls. We'll do an LSM poll, if you like that sound or not.
Does it work? Twitter question of the day here at Lax Sports Net on Twitter. Hopefully you're following us already.
Will got a good jump on that one. Gerard just steals it anyway.
It's been a special performance for Aseri here today.
Yeah. And this is not, I know G's going to go back and look at the game this week, and he's going to, just look at the ones he lost and how he could have done better.
Oh, that was sick.
My God.
Load high rip from Cole Willard, way in
Cole
tight.
Willard, rumble, young man, rumble. Look at this day he's having. That was something special. Watch this. Spinorama. Woo. Man.
Stags need a timeout to talk things over.
That was just gorgeous.
Man.
That was all wrist. That was fantastic.
By the way, Willard now with 2 goals. He entered today with 1 goal on the season, 1 goal in his career, so it's a nice little afternoon for the freshman from Cazenovia, New York. A reminder, the CAA Game of the Week returns here to LSN on Saturday, March 31st, a matchup of 2 teams who reached the conference tournament last season. The UMass Minutemen traveling to Philadelphia to take on Drexel. As conference play gets underway, our coverage will begin with the Lacrosse Now pregame show, 12:30 Eastern Time, the CAA Game of the Week, only on Lax Sports Network. It's crazy to think with the weather we're having that conference play is just around the corner. For Penn State, it starts with a bang. You got Ohio State on March 31st in a couple of weeks here, and then right after that, you got the defending champs in Maryland, back-to-back, 2 teams that played for the national championship last year, your first 2 Big Ten games in the 2018 slate.
Yeah, I mean, this weather's insane. Just a quick update for the Notre Dame basketball fans. St. Patrick's Day has been canceled. Penn State has beaten you in the NIT tournament.
Wow, it's been a good day all around for the Nittany Lions.
Unbelievable, unbelievable.
My Syracuse Orange got it done last night in the NCAA tournament, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's like if you're into the NCAA tournament,
yeah,
I guess that's
right,
cool.
Yeah,
Some of us don't set the bar that high.
What about the CBI or the CIT? You can go all over the place.
All right, 15-5, Fairfield. Let's go.
Hey, we saw Towson here earlier today on Lax Sports Network go on a nice little 6-goal run to get back in that game against Duke. So,
yeah,
crazier things have happened.
That's true. Gerard is
when you have Gerard Aseri at the X, though.
He's a bad man.
Yeah.
I in his mind right now, he's thinking, shut the door.
By the way, what are your thoughts on the Penn State helmets, the 3D decal that they got going on out there?
Yeah, I saw that at LaxCon. I thought it was kind of like bugging out for a second, and I was like, are these actually raised? And I got my hands on them. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very cool.
It's a little something different.
Who does those decals?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. Well, good job, guys.
Somebody wants to tweet at us. We certainly would take the knowledge.
Yeah, Twittergram me. So now Penn State's, they're still banging it around.
They're still, just feeling it offensively.
I mean, this is a point where, as a coach, you're sitting here going, we want to stay in our rhythm. I want my younger guys to get into it.
Mac O'Keefe, you can make it 6.
Mac O'Keefe is trying to set a single-season record in one game.
He is on a different planet today.
Yeah, I mean, that's just special. And here's the thing, right? In lacrosse, I always find it interesting, Division I, there's no shot clock, right? So as a coach, you're sitting here going, all right, we're up by 10, we're up by 11. How long do I keep my starters in? You know, there's 12 minutes left. That's an eternity in lacrosse.
By the way, Zima gear is the decals. We got a response.
Nice, Zima. Good job, boys.
I mean, with Mac O'Keefe and just what he has done here, it's just.
Gerard is fully in rhythm right now. So I give him a ton of props because Will Fox is known for being a guy that grinds you down. And Gerard has gotten stronger in the fourth quarter. And I know, like a lot of people, they'll say, like, your offense plays off of the rhythm of getting the ball. But I know from my perspective, face-off guys really – there's a whole difference between walking on the field to try and stop the bleeding as opposed to your offense is rolling. So mentally it helps you a ton.
Once again, as has been the case all afternoon, Penn State's offense just getting so many opportunities.
Yeah. I mean, this is exactly what the doctor ordered. If you're Coach Tambroni, you're sitting here. It's going to be a fun –
We got a broken shaft, and the skip pass, and that one goes.
And another ripped net, I think.
They're going to need to invest in new netting here at Fairfield by the end of this game. Penn State is shredding these goals.
I mean, this is tough. This is the day after spring break ends. Penn State shows up, wins by 2 touchdowns, and they've affected your financial budget for the field. I mean,
Dylan, Dylan Foltz. It's a laser. And yet we actually do have some people coming out to fix.
Look at the speed.
Fix the netting.
Those guys got to the net. That was like a 4.340.
Plus, the guy has got the short sleeve St. Patrick's Day shirt on, currently working on the netting, which is a bold strategy.
Can we get a camera on the guys fixing this net? Look at that outfit. This is.
The beanie.
It is 33 degrees out, everyone.
It is cold here
at least
Fairfield.
His head's warm, though.
Yeah, he's feeling
good. Watch these guys go to work.
And there we go. We got the net fixed.
Full speed ahead in work boots.
Hey, look at that is some.
You can't teach heart, man. You can't teach it. Well done, boys.
Great effort here at Fairfield.
In an MLL game, that would have taken 25 minutes. Great job, boys. All right, so we've got a change up now. Gerard's done for the day, it looks like.
Nice little afternoon for our Sari. If that is it, he won 20 of 25 faceoffs here this afternoon. And Fairfield able to steal one away. Opportunity in transition. Joe Rodriguez finally get back on the board.
So, that's tough, man. You're asking Glatz to come in. He's getting his first opportunity to play today. You're a freshman. You're going against, guys who've been facing off a couple, throughout this game. Right now, Billy McMenamin's back in there. And it's not easy, man. Like we just said, it's 30-something degrees out. You've been staying on the sideline the whole game, and now you got to jump in there. And if you're Fairfield, you're sitting here going, look, man, let's go. Let's try to get a couple more like that.
I mean, at this point, you might as well figure out a way to get at least some momentum out of this game here in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
We talked a little bit about it in the first half. Fairfield just so offensively challenged at times this year, including the last time out, scoring just the 3 goals in the loss to Yale last week. It's one of those things, it's got to feel good if you just see the ball go in.
Yeah. Another one forward.
Another chance for Rodriguez. Back-to-back goals for the Stags.
2 goals within like 7 seconds. And if you're Coach Tambroni, you're going to call a timeout. Yep. If I was coach, I'd be like, all right, I'm going to let Glatz continue to do this because now you have to decide, are you going to put Gerard back in, and now you've kind of set Glatz back, right? Because now he's going to be thinking about this. Or do you let him kind of dig out of this? You got a good lead. But like we said, there's 11 minutes left. This isn't like trash time. There's plenty of game
Plenty of time left here as it's back to a 10-goal deficit. Reminder for you, coming up tomorrow here on Lax Sports Network, we've got more live college lacrosse for you featuring the number 3 ranked team in the country, the Duke Blue Devils, playing their second game in 2 days, but they visit the Cleveland State Vikings a day after they played this game at Towson earlier this afternoon. The action getting underway at 1 o'clock Eastern tomorrow afternoon, only on Lax Sports Network. Will be very interesting to see how Coach Danowski and company able to bounce back after a tight game this afternoon at Towson. You saw here on LSN, and continue up to Ohio and see what kind of energy level they have to take on the Vikings tomorrow.
Yeah, it all really comes down to how that flight is out of BWI there. Cleveland State, I'm not sure what the weather is like there. Right? They have a gorgeous bubble that they play in, and it is fantastic. Facilities are very good.
Look, we saw Cleveland State give Ohio State a game earlier this season, the first game of the season here on LSN. So the Vikings not scared of anybody.
I love seeing Cleveland State. You're seeing, Marquette does their business, and also Jacksonville's coming up. Watch out for Jacksonville.
Yeah, John Galloway and company really, they once again took Ohio State to overtime. Probably should have won that game. And it really been good to see Coach Galloway and company getting some nice wins here in year 2. As Fairfield wins another face-off, not quite as cleanly this time, so gonna have to.
That's kind of like the Cardinals sin of face-off, guys. Glatz gets the clamp but doesn't get to his feet. He just drags it out, and that's why you constantly tell guys, get to your feet before you pull the ball out.
And so Fairfield going to get this ball in the box. Rodriguez.
Got to go north-south.
He's got to go.
There you go.
Gets it back to Colin Burke, and an offensive opportunity down by 10. A little over 10 minutes to go in this final quarter.
So, you had touched on it earlier. Fairfield is not a high-tempo offense usually, but they have to be one.
Got to go.
They don't have a choice. I would try to get the ball to Rodriguez and let him do some work.
He's a big part of this offense is that one through the wickets of Jack Brennan. And out of bounds, it's a turnover for Penn State. We've got a goalie change for the Nittany Lions. Will Schreiner, the senior from Avon High School, back in the game for Penn State, replacing Colby Canese. Didn't have too much work to do.
Schreiner is a starting caliber goalie himself.
Started a couple of years ago.
And his demeanor is perfect. You have a rising stud in Canese. And Schreiner I've heard nothing but positive things about the way he's handled that transition. And that's exactly the kind of character that you want as a coach. You wish you had every single player like that on your roster.
He really inherited a tough situation because he was the goalie that replaced Connor Darcy, who, of course, as we mentioned, tragically died in a car accident a couple of years ago in the summer, and he was the guy that was supposed to replace him. He came in and he was the starter for just about all of that 2016 season, included a win over then #1 Denver, a game you can actually see here on Lax Sports Network in our archives.
Yeah, Schreiner's a good talent, and he's a really good person. It's good to see him get some PT here with 10 minutes left in the quarter.
Yeah, obviously Colby Canese, a great talent who came in last year and won that job. Never a bad thing to have 2 quality goaltenders, though.
Yeah.
Good hustle there from Dylan Foltz.
Yeah, you're up by 10 goals. There's 8 minutes left in the game, and you're still diving for every single play. Fairfield, too. We mentioned it before. They're still playing hard. There's been mistakes. There's been some hiccups, but they're competing as hard as they can, and that's all you can ask for as a coach. You're not going to win every game.
Rodriguez wanted another one. Sails a little wide as he tried to switch hands there. Rodriguez with a hat trick this afternoon, scored the first one of the game, went quiet for like much of this Fairfield offense for a while, and scored the last 2 here. Did that go in? It did. What a finish from Colin Burke.
Colin Burke just put on the brakes, spun in place, and I think that was a completely underhand shot to the top corner. This is a special move. Look how big this kid is, and he's able to move like this. Oh, added a little hop in there as well.
And low to high, top corner on the far side.
You can't play better defense than that either.
That is the type of talent in what we saw out of Colin Burke as a freshman here at Fairfield. He was on the cover of Inside Lacrosse, CAA preseason player of the year entering last season, and some of the pressures and the expectations, it just seems to have gotten to him a little bit. He's had a decent year last year, but not quite what people may have expected. And this season, it's just good, tied for second on the team in points with 13, but not the special talent that maybe Fairfield could use at this point.
Yeah, you know what?
It's a lot of pressure to put on a kid who's sophomore, junior in college.
Yeah, you know, they always have these rankings before kids enter their freshman year, but there's so many variables that have to fall in place, right? And like on a day like today, he had one very special goal which displayed his talent, but they're not winning faceoffs.
Right.
So he doesn't even have the ball to be able to display that talent. So it's not that kid's fault that he's not getting the ball enough. And that's why I always say these rankings, like you said, the pressure. I mean, no one knew who anybody was when I was in college, right? Until you played him. So, you know, I mean, that's not his fault, and that's just something that he can build on.
Penn State turns it over, and Fairfield will get it back here midway through the fourth quarter. Travis Eldridge and Greg Gorenlian with you here in our CAA Game of the Week on Lax Sports Network. Chilly St. Patrick's Day here in Connecticut, but the sun is out. Decent crowd here at Rafferty Stadium. Always an awesome place to come watch lacrosse.
I love this stadium.
It's just
the
such
facilities
a
in
good
Fairfield
size.
are first class.
Awesome.
And that's why they don't have any problems getting the talent they do.
Yeah. You talk to these kids on the Fairfield team, and I talked to Joe Rodriguez earlier this week. He said, you know, games like this one against Penn State when they play Yale, those are the games, that's why you come to Fairfield. They certainly have had opportunities. The last couple years has not been in the cards for them.
And that's what's cool about Fairfield, man. You come here, you're a big man on campus when you play lacrosse.
Yeah.
And, you know, all these facilities, the stadium, everything, it's for these guys.
Here's Rodriguez again. Make it 4 for Joe. He's having a nice little afternoon.
He's having a great day against a great defense.
Fairfield's got 9 today. This is the Joe Rodriguez we've seen this year, leading the team in points with 15, 13 goals on the season. And when they didn't have the ball in that second and third quarters, and you just don't get touches.
Yeah, it's true. And you know what? For the lack of touches they've had against a quality defense, this is not a 10-1 game. They have 9 goals.
Yeah.
It's just that Penn State's had so many more possessions.
They've been relatively efficient with the opportunities that they've had. It just they've been few and far between.
Exactly. And another face-off win for Fairfield. Another grinded-out win.
Chance to get a little momentum here. So you look ahead for Fairfield, and life doesn't get that much easier. You play NJIT in a midweek game here coming up in a couple of days, but then you go to Villanova next weekend, a Wildcats team that may be playing as one of the best in the country, and then you start CAA play, which is always a dogfight.
Yeah, I mean, the CAA is loaded.
You look what Townsend and Hofstra have done the last couple of weeks now, starting to turn the corner. Both of them maybe a little slower starts than they would have liked, but both of them certainly have opportunities to get some more marquee wins.
Yeah, you have no idea. I mean, you have no idea what kind of team you have the first weekend of the season.
No, especially when you start February 4th.
Yeah, I mean, you're practically coming straight back from Christmas break and playing. And, you know, this is a whole different situation these kids deal with right now with these preseason rankings and blah, blah, blah.
Hey, that's what we're here for, Greg. Welcome to the media.
Blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
But this is an opportunity for them to actually do something that's usable, right? Like, they're going to be able to say, hey, look, we lost 30%, or we won 30% of the face-offs. We threw the ball away. We were on man down a bunch, and we still were able to get if they play really well the next 4 minutes, double-digit goals against a really good team. So.
Got some new faces in there for Penn State, as you don't see Mac O'Keefe and company out there. Dylan Foltz still out there, who's had a really good afternoon. 4 goals and 3 assists for the sophomore from Canada.
Yeah, Dylan's a good example of what a red shirt could do.
Yeah.
He got an extra year of under his belt. There's no substitute for experience. So, he's going to be able to be an impact player. Coach Tambroni thinks very, very highly of him as a guy who's going to be, a staple of this offense moving forward for the future.
And the Penn State offense is still so young. Opportunity in transition, and Fairfield gets another to go.
I'm really impressed with Fairfield. They're picking their spots. Like, when they get the ball ahead, whether it's a 5-on-4 or a 4-on-3, they are going to try to score every single time. They are not happy with just holding the ball. And obviously, at this point in the game, that's exactly the way you got to go. That was a beauty.
Sheehan able to put that one home for Fairfield.
So this is Nick Mcavoy taking the face-off for Penn State. He's a jack of all trades, played at Gonzaga High School. He's actually a starting D midi for them ever since his first day on campus. Really strong player right there. Doesn't win the clamp, hustles, finds a way to get on offense. I think the world of that kid. He's got a great shot. He's a two-way throwback midi who can also face off. So he's going to be a guy who they're going to lean on heavily towards the end of this season and obviously moving forward.
Something we don't see as much anymore. A guy like a Zach Currier that we saw last year, just a terrific athlete that's able to do a little bit of everything.
I think the biggest misconception, what drives me nuts when I hear people do these broadcasts for face-offs, is seriously like this misconception that you must be bad at lacrosse if you're a face-off guy. It's actually the exact opposite. You're just so good at face-offs that's what you get designated to do. Gerard Arceri played offensive midfielder in high school. Mcavoy is one of the best offensive midfielders in high school when he was a senior. It's just the fact that you're so good at this one thing and nobody can take every face-off for their team and stay on. Because I tried it at Penn State. The best we could do is I played man up my senior year and faced off, and even that is way too taxing. You don't give these kids enough credit.
Well, that pass couldn't quite get through there for Tanner Peck.
Uh-oh. Wow, what a play.
That was a great heads-up play there for Fairfield in the middle of the field. But you're right, and you talked to Coach Bill Tierney out of Denver, and the amount of times that Trevor bugs him as a midfielder to stay on because he just wants to continue to play because he knows he's a talented lacrosse player. And Coach Tierney will tell the story that as soon as he sees him a couple of times and then they go back and he watches him face off and go 10 for 10 and he goes, yeah, no, you're going to have to keep facing off for us.
Yeah.
Rodriguez, another one to go.
Rodriguez, another one. And look what just set this whole thing up. Frank Lubetti gets the ball up for Fairfield, gets the ball on offense because he was playing D midi. He's a face-off guy, but he's not playing right now, and that's what coaches are looking for. You're a great face-off guy in high school, but can you do other stuff? And Frankie's found a spot on this team as a D-mid who just led to a great transition play because he's an athlete who can do more than just face-off, and that's the key.
Quietly, Joe Rodriguez having a terrific game. 5 goals this afternoon for the senior from California.
Good for him. A lot of good lacrosse players coming out of Cali.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. California, Texas, and Florida, 3 areas. Watch out.
Was down in Texas earlier this season for the Patriot Cup. And, Highland Park, the talent that we saw there. Of course, Colby Knies, the goalie for Penn State, coming from Highland Park. His brother currently plays down there. Colby is an attackman. And they gave IMG Academy a terrific game. IMG, of course, one of the top probably 15, 20 teams in the country.
Another face-off win for Fairfield. McAvoy won
Getting
the clamp.
a little something going.
Yep.
Rodriguez can make it 6 for Joe.
6. Should go back. Mcavoy wins the clamp, pulls it out again without getting to his feet. So Fairfield scoops up an easy ground ball, takes it back the other way.
Maybe a little too late, but Fairfield quickly finding some offensive groove. And honestly, when you're Fairfield and you've struggled to score as much as they have, it's got to feel good heading into your next game. A busy week for them as they've got 2 games here in the next 7 days.
Yeah, and like we said just a couple minutes ago, it was an 11-goal game. It's 5 goals now.
By the way, 12 goals, the most that Fairfield has scored in a single game this season.
So we got our positive, right? You know, Coach Copeland has something that he can hang his hat on when he's trying to motivate these guys to get going this week. I think they're going to be pretty itching to play.
Yeah, I have a feeling that NJIT game can't get here soon enough. Big hit in the middle that draws the flag, so another man-up opportunity for the Stags as we inch toward a minute to go.
Will Foltz is a savage. I mean, he just took a helmet-to-helmet on the chin and hopped right up and jogged off like a flea landed on his shoulder.
Colin Burke feeds the shot from Brennan, sails wide, and that'll trigger the man-up chance here with about a minute to go. Another look at this hit.
Gets smoked. Watch how quick he gets back up. Yeah, I mean, that was shaft to chin. That's why we don't do that underhook counter. He easily pulls it out forward, draws a penalty. That's the second penalty that Will Foltz has drawn for his team today. Last time around, they didn't capitalize on it. Let's see if they can get one now and have Coach Tambroni start to shake his head.
Go, wait a minute.
I know Coach Tambo, he's going to walk in, film on Monday, and say, we're watching the 4th quarter first, boys.
Uh-huh. A 1-minute penalty.
1 minute for cross-checking and 1 minute.
See if Fairfield can take advantage, and they do.
There it is.
Jack Brennan. It's back down to a 4-goal game.
That was a phenomenal play right there. That's just pure touch. Ball was put a little high, didn't even bother him. Came down on it, little hop.
A little game pressure on the Nittany Lions here. Late.
Yeah, I mean, and there you go. Coach calls timeout.
Got a timeout here.
You know, listen, boys, we put a lot of effort into this. Let's finish strong. We need a face-off.
Just get one and run this thing out.
Yep.
For Fairfield, when you digest this game, what's going to be the number one thing that they look to do here? As you see Joe Rodriguez and this offense has gotten it going here in the 4th.
As coach, you're probably just going to come back and say, you know, we're going to watch the film and we're going to say, look at this hustle play, and then you follow it up with, look at us throw the ball out of bounds right here, and then, you know, look at this face-off win that got the crowd going, and then look at us run off sides. You know, and I think you're going to look back and you can be proud because these guys are playing like crazy and they're playing hard. But the other side of it is this is what kills you at the elite level is the little things. And that's why every single Division I and pro team goes over basics. Fundamentals, hitting the wall, catching and throwing. Your clear has to be very concise and your man down has got to be communication. So it's just like the tiny little things. You know, and that's what drives coaches nuts, and that's what they lose sleep over at night.
Yep.
You know, their success in putting food on their family's table comes down to 19-year-olds listening. I can't think of anything more stressful than that.
For Penn State, how important is this game, especially for Mac O'Keefe, to go out there, light it up for 6 goals, had a couple of assists as well, an 8-point afternoon. I mean, can that be the catalyst to something better for him in this offense? Yeah,
I know what this bus ride's going to look like going back home, right? They're going to put their arms around each other and say, you know, we have it in us.
Like, this is what we've been waiting to do.
And I think as O'Keefe is going to sit there and be like, I got a little bit more trust in these guys, the guys that are around him are going to be like, I think I'm starting to find my role in this. So I think this is exactly what the doctor ordered from an offensive standpoint.
You have to think the performance from Foltz as well. As Fairfield wins another face-off here with 40 seconds to go. The performance and a timeout here for the Stags. A guy like a redshirt sophomore, Dylan Foltz, going out there, putting up 4 goals and 3 assists. That's a game he hasn't seen in college.
Yeah. And we also talked about Spillane, like just looking real natural behind the goal, running the offense early on. You know, I just love looking at the spreadsheet of this. Like, when you look at the shot chart of this game as well as who's scoring what, I mean, O'Keefe has this brunt of the points, but I mean, he's got 8, Foltz 7, Willard 3, Spillane 3, Peck 2. I mean, like, it just, the score sheet goes real deep. And that's not even to talk about the guys who with the second assists and the third assists. I mean, there were points where guys weren't even moving because the ball was moving so fast.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive continuity just overall for Penn State has been very impressive today.
And Coach Tambroni doesn't leave any stone unturned. You can tell they were ready for zone defense. A lot of times, no matter how good an offense is, they seem a little stagnant at first, but they didn't skip a beat.
Just see some of what this offensive display has looked like for the Nittany Lions today. A lot of Mac O'Keefe, a bunch of Dylan Foltz. And I think you mentioned it. I mean, the ability on some of the quick stick finishes and just.
You know what you don't see on this whole highlight out of 17 goals is one guy dodging through 2 or 3 guys and trying to dive into the crease and score.
As we're back, about 30 seconds left in this one. Our CAA game of the week. Skips through, Liam DeRose, the shot saved.
That was well scouted. Fairfield was gonna shoot to the crease. They looked for the crease.
Oh, and we've got a scuffle and a flag. Frustration.
Well, you got frustration. You also got some guys on the Penn State field right now that don't play as much.
Yep.
And you know, you can't get caught up in that stuff. So now you got yourself a flag, and you're lucky the referees let you kind of just shake it off a little bit without throwing extras. I mean, like right there, that extra push could have easily been a flag.
Yeah.
And the officials did a good job of just kind of like calming the guys down, get them off the field. But now that's another flag against Penn State now.
It looks like one on both sides at least.
Both serving. And that only helps the offense because now you're down a defender and there's way more field.
I mean, let's be honest. If you're sitting on that Penn State bench, you come in and draw an unsportsmanlike, it's not going to get you a whole lot more minutes.
No. And I understand maybe your player gets hacked, the official doesn't see it, you try to stick up for him, but you're also a grown-up.
Yeah.
And you're wearing helmets and pads. It's not a big deal if your buddy gets slashed. You're trying to get out of here and have a happy bus ride back to Happy Valley. So now we got 5-on-4, and this really opens up the playbook for Fairfield. This is a tough call.
See if they can add on one more here.
They're going to try and score right away.
Step down, shot saved.
Huge save, huge save. He's going to need to take one more.
We got Scollins in cage there for Penn State with 3 seconds. Third goalie that the Nittany Lions
Scollins rolling in there in 30-degree weather. No big deal. I'll just take one on the ankle for my boys.
Boom. And time expires here in Connecticut. Penn State. A huge offensive performance, and it equals a 17-13 win over Fairfield here in this non-conference test.